March 14, 1995, Kensington Palace, 3:22 a.m. Princess Diana sat on the edge of her bathroom floor, staring at the pregnancy test in her trembling hands. 2 pink lines. After 13 years of marriage and 2 children with Charles, this should have been a moment of joy. Instead, it was a moment of pure terror, because the child she was carrying wasn't Prince Charles's. Diana buried her face in her hands as the devastating reality hit her. She was pregnant with another man's baby, and if the palace discovered the truth, it would be the end of everything. What happened in the next 72 hours would remain the royal family's most closely guarded secret for decades. But what nobody knows is how far the palace went to cover up Diana's pregnancy and the shocking identity of the real father, the discovery that changed everything. March 14, 1995, Prince 3:30 a.m., Kensington Palace. Diana had been feeling unwell for weeks. Nausea, fatigue, mood swings she couldn't explain. She had dismissed it as stress from her failing marriage and the constant media scrutiny. But when her period was 3 weeks late, a terrifying possibility began to form in her mind. She had driven herself to a discreet pharmacy in South London, wearing dark glasses and a headscarf, to buy a pregnancy test. No bodyguards, no staff, no witnesses. Now, sitting alone in her private bathroom at 3 a.m., the reality was undeniable. She was pregnant. But the timing made it impossible for Charles to be the father. They hadn't been intimate in over 8 months. The last time had been a duty encounter in July 1994, orchestrated by palace officials desperate to present a united front during a particularly difficult media period. Diana's mind raced through the possibilities, and one name kept emerging: Captain James Hewitt. Their affair had ended officially in 1991, but they had reconnected briefly in February 1995. One night, one moment of weakness when Diana felt more alone than ever before. Now that moment had created a crisis that could destroy the monarchy. But wait, you haven't seen Diana's desperate attempt to handle this alone. The secret consultation. March 15, 1995, 2 p.m., private clinic. Diana knew she couldn't use the royal physicians. Dr. Peter Wheeler, her gynecologist, was too closely connected to the palace. Instead, she reached out to Dr. Sarah Harrison, a discreet private doctor who treated many high-profile clients. Dr. Harrison, Diana said, sitting in the small consultation room, wearing a wig and dark glasses, "I need you to confirm something for me, and I need your absolute discretion." "Of course, Mrs. Williams," Dr. Harrison replied using the false name Diana had given. The blood test confirmed what Diana already knew. 6 weeks pregnant. "Mrs. Williams, congratulations. When would you like to schedule your first proper prenatal appointment?" Diana felt sick. "Doctor, I need to ask you something. If someone in my situation didn't want to continue with this pregnancy, what would be the options?" Dr. Harrison looked at her carefully. Despite the disguise, she suspected she knew who her patient really was. "There are options, but given how public your life is, any procedure would be extremely risky from a privacy standpoint." "What do you mean?" "Medical records can be subpoenaed. Staff can be questioned. If you're who I think you are, any medical procedure would eventually become public knowledge." Diana realized that even terminating the pregnancy would create evidence that could destroy her. Hold up. Diana's next decision shocked even her closest friends. The confession to a friend. March 16, 1995, Diana Rosa Monckton's home. Unable to bear the secret alone, Diana confided in Rosa Monckton, one of her most trusted friends and godmother to her eventual daughter. "Rosa, I need to tell you something that will shock you." "Diana, what's wrong? You look terrible." "I'm pregnant." Rosa nearly dropped her wine glass. "That's wonderful. Does Charles know?" "Rosa, you don't understand. Charles isn't the father." The room fell silent. Rosa stared at her friend in disbelief. "Diana, what are you saying?" "I'm saying that I'm carrying another man's child, and if this becomes public, it will destroy the monarchy." "Who is the father?" Diana hesitated. "James Hewitt." Rosa felt the world spinning. "Diana, James is. I know exactly what this is. It's a disaster. What are you going to do?" "I don't know. If I have this baby, everyone will do the math. If I don't have this baby, and the palace finds out I was pregnant, they'll use it to destroy me anyway." Rosa took her friend's hands. "Diana, there might be a third option." "What?" "Make them think the baby is Charles's. Don't miss this detail." Rosa's shocking plan. The deception plan. March 16, 1995, 8:30 p.m., same evening. Rosa outlined a plan that was both brilliant and terrifying in its implications. "Diana, listen to me carefully. You're 6 weeks pregnant. If you could convince Charles to be intimate with you, just once, then you could claim the baby is his." "Rosa, Charles hasn't touched me in months. He barely speaks to me. Then you seduce him. You make him believe you're trying to save your marriage." Diana looked at her friend in horror. "You're asking me to trick my husband into believing he's the father of another man's child. I'm asking you to save your life. Because Diana, if the truth comes out, the palace won't just divorce you, they'll destroy you completely." Diana realized Rosa was right. The palace had already been looking for ways to discredit her. An illegitimate pregnancy would give them everything they needed. But what if Charles realizes the timing doesn't work? Men don't pay attention to these things the way women do. And if you're convincing enough about wanting to reconcile, he might not question it. Diana felt sick at the deception she was contemplating, but she couldn't see any other option. This is where everything changes. Diana's seduction plan. The reconciliation charade. March 20th, 1995, Highgrove House. Diana had called Charles and suggested they spend a weekend together at Highgrove to talk about their future. Charles, who had been feeling pressure from the Queen to either fix his marriage or end it definitively, agreed. "Charles," Diana said over dinner, "I've been thinking about us, about our family." Charles looked surprised. Diana hadn't spoken to him this warmly in years. "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe we've both made mistakes. Maybe we should try to rebuild what we once had." Charles was suspicious but intrigued. "Diana, we've tried this before, but we've never really tried. We've always been performing for other people. What if we tried for ourselves, for William and Harry?" Diana moved closer to Charles on the sofa. "What if we tried to remember why we fell in love?" Charles was confused by this sudden change in Diana's behavior, but he had always been susceptible to her charm when she chose to use it. "Diana, what are you really saying?" "I'm saying maybe we could have another child. Maybe a daughter. Maybe something beautiful could come from all this pain." Charles looked at his wife, really looked at her. For the first time in months, she was still incredibly beautiful, and the vulnerability in her eyes reminded him of the young woman he had married. That night, for the first time in almost a year, Charles and Diana were intimate. But you're not ready for what Diana had to do next. The palace announcement. April 18th, 1995. Buckingham Palace. 5 weeks later, Diana requested a private audience with Queen Elizabeth II. "Ma'am, I have news that I believe will please you." "What news, Diana?" "Charles and I are expecting another child." The Queen's expression was unreadable. "I see. And when is this child expected?" Diana had rehearsed this moment carefully. "December, ma'am. We conceived during our reconciliation weekend at Highgrove." The Queen studied Diana's face carefully. "This is quite unexpected, given the state of your marriage. Love can rekindle, ma'am. Charles and I both want what's best for our family and the monarchy." The Queen was silent for a long moment. "Diana, I want you to understand something. If you are carrying Charles's child, this changes everything. A third child would necessitate a genuine reconciliation." "I understand, ma'am. And if you are not carrying Charles's child..." The Queen's voice became ice cold. "Well, I trust that's not a possibility we need to discuss." Diana felt a chill run down her spine. The Queen knew something was wrong, but she couldn't prove it. "You're not going to believe what happened during Diana's pregnancy. The dangerous pregnancy." May-August 1995, the cover-up intensifies. As Diana's pregnancy progressed, the palace implemented unprecedented security measures, not to protect Diana, but to control information about the pregnancy. Dr. Peter Wheeler, the royal gynecologist, was assigned to Diana's case with strict instructions. Sir Robert Fellows told him privately, "This pregnancy is of utmost importance to the crown. Any irregularities in timing, development, or paternity must be reported immediately." Dr. Wheeler was confused. "Sir, is there reason to suspect irregularities?" "There's reason to be extremely careful. Princess Diana's health and the legitimacy of this child are matters of national security." Meanwhile, Diana was living in constant fear. Every doctor's appointment, every ultrasound, every measurement was scrutinized for evidence that might expose her secret. The baby was developing normally, but Diana knew that when the child was born, its appearance might reveal the truth. James Hewitt had distinctive red hair and features that were nothing like Charles's. Don't miss this shocking revelation. What Diana discovered about palace surveillance, the discovery of surveillance. Diana's worst fears were confirmed when her trusted staff member, Paul Burrell, made a disturbing discovery. "Ma'am, I need to show you something," Paul said, his face grave. "What is it, Paul?" "I found this hidden in your private sitting room." He showed her a small electronic device. "It's a listening device." Diana felt her blood turn to ice. "They're spying on me. It appears so. And ma'am, there's more. I believe your phone calls are being monitored. Your mail is being read, and your medical appointments are being reported." Diana realized the palace wasn't just suspicious about her pregnancy. They were actively investigating it. Paul, how long has this been going on? Based on the sophistication of the equipment, I'd say since shortly after you announced the pregnancy. Diana understood the implications immediately. If the palace had been monitoring her communications, they might have evidence of her contact with James Hewitt in February. Ma'am, what should we do? We continue as if nothing has changed. But Paul, I need you to help me with something very important. But wait, Diana's backup plan was even more shocking. The backup plan, August 3, 1995, Diana's desperate gambit. Knowing she was under surveillance, Diana implemented a backup plan that was both brilliant and morally questionable. She arranged to meet with James Hewitt one final time, but not for the reason he expected. James, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Diana, I've missed you so much. James, stop, I'm pregnant. Hewitt's face went white. It might be, but that's not why I'm here. I don't understand. I'm here to ask you to disappear. Leave England, take a posting overseas, and if anyone ever asks you about our relationship, you deny everything. Diana, if this is my child, if this is your child, then knowing about it will destroy all three of us. The palace is watching me. If they can prove you're the father, they'll use it to destroy me, take my children away, and probably destroy you too. Hewitt was stunned. So I'm supposed to just abandon my own child? You're supposed to save your child by staying away from them. Sometimes love means sacrifice. Diana pulled out an envelope. This contains enough money to start a new life anywhere in the world. Take it and go. Hewitt took the envelope with shaking hands. Will I ever see you again? For all our sakes, I hope not. That was the last time Diana and James Hewitt ever spoke. Here's the most shocking part. What happened when the baby was born? The birth that never was. September 17, 1995. The crisis. At 28 weeks pregnant, Diana was rushed to the hospital in the middle of the night. The official announcement was that she had suffered complications requiring immediate medical attention. The truth was far more devastating. Diana had miscarried. Your Royal Highness, Dr. Wheeler said gently, I'm very sorry. The pregnancy is not viable. Diana felt a complex mixture of grief and relief. The child she had carried for 6 months was gone, but so was the secret that could have destroyed her. Doctor, what exactly do I tell people? The official medical term is late-term pregnancy loss due to complications. It's not uncommon, and it requires no further explanation. But Diana had one more question. Doctor, was there any way to determine paternity? Dr. Wheeler looked at her carefully. Your Royal Highness, medical ethics prevent me from conducting tests without consent from all parties involved. I understand. But hypothetically, yes. But those tests were never performed, and the medical records will show only what's necessary for your continued care. Diana realized that Dr. Wheeler was telling her the secret was safe. Don't miss this detail. How the palace handled the cover-up. The palace response. September 18, 1995, the official statement. The palace's response to Diana's pregnancy loss was swift and comprehensive. The Prince and Princess of Wales are saddened to announce that the princess has suffered a pregnancy loss due to medical complications. They request privacy during this difficult time. Behind the scenes, the palace was conducting a thorough investigation. Sir Robert, the Queen asked her private secretary, what do we know about the timing of this pregnancy? Ma'am, our investigation suggests the conception date could have been anywhere from mid-February to late March, and the princess's relationship with the prince during that period. Estranged until the reconciliation weekend at Highgrove. I see, and her other activities during February. Sir Robert hesitated. Ma'am, we have evidence of at least one meeting with Captain Hewitt. The Queen was silent for a long moment. This pregnancy loss may have been fortuitous. Ma'am, if the child had been born, questions would have been asked, questions that might have been difficult to answer. The Queen had essentially admitted that Diana's miscarriage had saved the monarchy from a potential scandal. The final revelation. What Diana knew about the palace's involvement. The terrible suspicion. October 1995. Diana's growing paranoia. In the weeks following her pregnancy loss, Diana began to suspect that the miscarriage hadn't been natural. Paul, she confided to her butler, I've been thinking about the medication I was given during my pregnancy. What about it, ma'am? Dr. Wheeler prescribed several new medications in the weeks before I lost the baby. Medications I'd never taken before. Medications for what? He said they were vitamins and supplements to ensure a healthy pregnancy. But what if they were something else? Paul was horrified. Ma'am, you can't be suggesting. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying that the timing was very convenient for certain people. Diana had no proof, but she couldn't shake the feeling that her pregnancy loss had been orchestrated. She began researching medications that could cause pregnancy complications, while appearing to be beneficial supplements. What she found terrified her. The truth. Diana's secret pregnancy in 1995 represented the greatest threat the royal family had ever faced. A child born to Diana and fathered by someone other than Charles would have been a constitutional crisis of unprecedented proportions. Whether the pregnancy loss was natural or induced remains unknown, but the palace's relief at the outcome was unmistakable. Diana's experience taught her that the royal family would go to any lengths to protect the institution, even if it meant sacrificing the lives of those within it. The secret of Diana's pregnancy died with her in 1997, but the evidence of the palace's surveillance, investigation, and potential involvement in the pregnancy's end remains one of the darkest chapters in royal history. Some secrets are buried so deep that even the truth seems like fiction, but sometimes fiction is the only way truth can be told.